Welcome to the final installment of our series on al-Ghazali's The Revival of the Religious Sciences, and in this sequel discussion on the fourth quarter of Ihya ulumuddin, we will delve into the pinnacle of the knowledge according to al-Ghazali, the monistic vision of God and his creation. As we explore the intricate relationship between the knowledge, love and happiness, we uncover the fundamental principles that underpin al-Ghazali's spiritual philosophy. The highest knowledge of God is a monistic vision of him and his creation. Al-Ghazali emphasizes that this knowledge is essential for achieving happiness in the afterlife and is its very essence. The link between knowledge and happiness is love. According to al-Ghazali, love follows perception and knowledge because one can only love what one knows. Love is directed towards things that brings pleasure. Perception brings pleasure according to the sense involved, and the highest pleasure comes from the highest sense, which is ultimately the intellect. Unlike the other senses, the intellect can perceive God, making this the greatest pleasure. Al-Ghazali identifies 5 causes of love: love of oneself and what preserves oneself, love of what benefits the lover, love of something for its own sake, love of beauty, love of something to which one has an affinity. In each case, God is the most worthy of love. He creates and sustains all life, brings benefits without self-gain, is the benefactor of all the existence, embodies the perfection and beauty, and humans have an inherent affinity with him, being made in his image. Thus, the highest pleasure comes from the intellect's knowledge of God, leading to the highest love. The biggest obstacle to knowing God is the passion, which focuses on the body and physical world. And overcoming this passion is necessary to gain the knowledge of God, but they can never be fully conquered while the soul is in the body. As long as one lives in the world, the passions will confuse and prevent the clear witnessing of God, except for the brief moment of insights when the passion weakens. Al-Ghazali compares these insights into a fleeting flash of the lightning, kal-barq al-khatif, similar to the description of the Sufi insights in his earlier works. Al-Ghazali suggests that these insights are the significant and that he might have recognized this importance earlier, though the imagery might originally come from Ibn Sina. Complete knowledge of God and the ultimate pleasure associated with it are only attained after death. Since God's wonders are infinite, the degrees of knowledge and love of God are also infinite, and ultimately leading to the infinite degrees of happiness. Love for something not fully known and absent result in yearning shauq. Those who know God in this life will yearn for him due to his absence and their limited understanding. After death, God will be present, ending the yearning caused by his absence. However, since God is infinite, the yearning for more knowledge of him will continue forever. In the afterlife, the pain of everything for more knowledge will be offset by the pleasure of the divine assistance or lutf in gaining it. This is the happiness of those who have mastered their passions through adhering the law and controlling their desires, freeing themselves to pursue and attain the knowledge of God. In the afterlife, everyone receives what they desired in this life. Those who sought to witness God will do so, while those who sought bodily pleasure will experience them instead. If there were any doubts about the importance of the rational inquiry in the al-Ghazali's method, they all dispelled by the book of the revival and the Contemplation, Tafakkur. Here he defines contemplation as combining 2 premises to reach a third, akin to a syllogism. Its goal is to increase knowledge, specifically ma'rifah, or a term consistently used by al-Ghazali to denote the knowledge leading to the happiness. And this term is often used in Sufi discourse to refer to inspired knowledge. However, al-Ghazali's preference for rational inquiry in gaining knowledge of God before perfecting it through Sufi practice is evident. He describes meditation or tadakkur as a lesser practice used when the second premise of the syllogism is absent. This involves spreading its concept in the heart of engrave it there. Al-Ghazali explicitly states that the contemplation of tafakkur is superior to remembrance or meditation, ad-dhikr wa tadakkur, and meditation because the rational cognition surpasses them. This emphasis on rational thought or the traditional Sufi practice highlights the integration of the philosophical and Sufi discourses in al-Ghazali's synthesis. Al-Ghazali continues in this book to lead the reader through contemplating God's creation, starting from the closest, the human body, and progressing to the farthest reaches of the cosmos. He guides the reader through a journey that encompasses everything from earthly elements to the celestial bodies, angels, and ultimately to the Lord of all creation. This contemplation of the physical world serves as a pathway to understanding the intelligible realms which can be imprinted upon the human soul. The final sections of the revival, the remembrance of the death and the afterlife, surface as a fitting conclusion. It reminds readers of the inevitability of the death and the importance of the preparing for the afterlife. By vividly describing the pains and pleasure of the afterlife, al-Ghazali urges readers to reflect on the transient nature of the worldly life and the eternal significance of the hereafter. Preparing for the afterlife entails living a life dedicated to attaining the happiness as detailed in the revival of the religious sciences. This involves fulfilling religious obligations, conducting oneself ethically, restraining worldly desires, and cultivating virtues and knowledge of God. Al-Ghazali's achievement in the revival lies in presenting a comprehensive vision of the religious teaching aimed at achieving the ultimate goal of knowing God, which is the essence of the happiness in the afterlife. And in this chapter, we have delved into the profound shift in al-Ghazali's life and thought, which culminated in his departure from Baghdad and subsequent writing of his magnum opus, The Revival of the Religious Sciences. However, this transformation wasn't a sudden conversion to a completely new way of thinking. Rather, it was a crystallization of the ideas already present in his earlier works, particularly in the Scale of Action or the Mizan al-Amal. In the Scale of Action of the Mizan al-Amal, al-Ghazali emphasizes the urgency of seeking felicity in the afterlife through both knowledge and practice. And this knowledge primarily pertains to the understanding God, which he views as the ultimate source of happiness. He presents two main paths to achieving felicity: Sufism and philosophy. While these paths share similar practices, they differ in the approaches to acquiring knowledge of God. Al-Ghazali seems to lean toward philosophy as the super path. The revival of the religious sciences further solidifies al-Ghazali's commitment to synthesizing philosophy and Sufism as means of pursuing felicity. However, he adapts his message to a broader audience of the religious scholars, acknowledging that most are not equipped for a philosophical approach. Instead, he emphasized the importance of the science of praxis, which focuses on the practical religious obligations and ethical conduct. While al-Ghazali primarily promotes the practice-oriented approach of the Sufism in the revival, he occasionally hints at the science of unveiling or a deeper mystical knowledge attainable through the philosophical inquiry. By presenting the path to the felicity for a wide audience and elevating the pursuit of the spiritual happiness, al-Ghazali aims to transform the Islamic scholarly tradition, placing the quest for felicity at its core. His efforts to weave this comprehensive vision of Islam, emphasizing the pursuit of the spiritual happiness, mark his intended revival of the religious sciences. Through meticulous scholarship and a persuasive rhetoric, al-Ghazali endeavors to reshape the Islamic intellectual landscape, setting the stage for the subsequent chapters exploration of his methods and impact. And as we conclude the exploration of the Ghazali's the revival of the religious sciences, we have traversed the depth of the philosophical inquiry and mystical insights to uncover the essence of the true happiness, knowledge of God. Through his synthesis of philosophy and Sufism, al-Ghazali offers a comprehensive roadmap for attaining spiritual fulfillment in the hereafter or in the afterlife. By emphasizing the importance of the ethical conduct, intellectual inquiry, and spiritual practice, al-Ghazali leaves a lasting legacy that continues to inspire seekers of the truth and happiness across the generation. Until next, stay blessed. Thank you for watching.